Hi again, it's your weekly horoscope columnist, Christopher Renstrom, back to share with you some pretty exciting news. You will soon have a chance to study with me in my upcoming course, The Cosmic Calendar, produced here at Astrology Hub. The Cosmic Calendar is designed to teach you how to turn your birth chart into a personal calendar, one that's uniquely aligned to your natural flow and personal seasons. You'll be able to look at the year ahead and know exactly how to plan your life. Whether you're looking to launch a business, dive back into the dating pool, or finally get around to writing that book you said you'd get around to writing one day, the Cosmic Calendar will help you to identify the best times of year to pursue your dreams. So if you want to be the first to know more about the Cosmic Calendar, then sign up for the waitlist now at astrologyhub.com/cosmic waitlist. Again, that's astrologyhub.com/cosmic waitlist. I am so looking forward to seeing you there. More tears are shed over answered prayers than unanswered ones. Hello, my name is Christopher Renstrom, and I'm your weekly horoscope columnist here on Astrology Hub. And this week, I wanted to talk to you about the Mars-Uranus trine taking place on February 8th. Now, I want you to think about that quote for a moment. More tears are shed over answered prayers than unanswered ones. That quote comes to us from Saint Teresa of Avila. And I think that it's actually a very appropriate quote regarding the Uranus-Mars trine, which will be taking place this week. Now, the quote itself, more tears are shed over answered prayers than unanswered ones, it's not the same idea as careful what you wish for because you might just get it. There's a kind of melancholy or sadness that's inscribed into the heart of that quote. And that comes from the way that Uranus as a planet works. Now, Uranus, we're all familiar with, is the planet of revolution and change. And it's the planet that really can come into your life and upset your greatest expectations. It takes the fixtures of your life and it turns them upside down and inside out. And that's pretty much what it will do if it's forming a conjunction or a square or an opposition. But when Uranus forms a sextile, or when Uranus forms a trine, like it does to Mars this week, then it goes from a planet that is revolutionary in its character to one that is revelatory. Now, Mars is very much, I want that and I'm going to go and get it type of planet. It will charge forward in order to go ahead and grab what it wants. Or it might creep around the back stair in a roundabout circle to close in on what it wants, or it might recruit an ally and working together, combine forces, and then go after what it wants. When Mars is in Capricorn, as we've discussed in previous podcasts, Mars is exalted, okay? Mars is unwavering in what it wants, it's strategic, and it will make whatever sacrifices it needs to make in order to achieve its aims. But I also find that there's a certain sort of irony that's woven into the fabric of Mars when it's in the astrological sign of Capricorn. It gets what it wants, but it comes at some kind of a cost. Now, this idea of getting what you want, but it coming at some kind of a cost because of its trine to Uranus, I want to combine with the notion of something happening that's unexpected. So in other words, this week, and it's actually, I want to be candid here, it's actually a very good week for accomplishing the things that you want. You have a Mars trine Uranus that's taking place in two Earth signs, Capricorn and Taurus respectively. You have a first quarter moon that's taking place in Taurus, so that's a waxing moon. It's expanding or waxing the Earth energy that's taking place this week. And then you also have Mercury Pluto conjunction, which is taking place on February 11th. But it's that idea of the Mercury-Pluto conjunction with the Mars in Capricorn and the Uranus in Taurus that I sort of want to make of a piece here. when Uranus, as I said, is trining or sextiling a planet, there is an unexpected quality that is revelatory. So you will get what you want, okay, but it happens in a sort of, well, it happens in a sort of way that leaves you with an unexpected feeling about it. I've come up with 3 ideas. The first thing is that you may get what you want, but you find it wanting. Okay, and that's happened to many of us at different times. You get what you want, and you're ready to embrace, your victory or collect your prize. And on closer inspection, you realize that it's not really what you had wanted. That it's kind of missing something, or it's lacking something, and so it leaves you kind of like, oh, I guess, that sort of a thing. So that can be one way that this getting what you want, you may experience it. The other thing that I came up with was the idea that something you thought you couldn't live without is removed from your life, all right? And then you realize that you actually could have lived without it all along. So again, it's something that I'm not necessarily saying that you were obsessed or fixated with, but something that you were convinced you just couldn't live without, that you had to have this, that you had to maintain your grasp on this, or this item in your ownership, made you feel very on top of things or special. Maybe it was a status that you had. But it's something that you always felt like, I can't live without this. I have to maintain this. I have to keep this. I have to be on edge or try my best, in service to this. And this week it's removed, and this week it's taken away. And at first you might feel like, how can I possibly live without this? But then you might also experience at that same moment of like, how can I possibly live without this? You might also experience a strange kind of relief, a strange kind of like, the fear of losing it was always kind of like this sword hanging over my head, or what's removed is this anxiety of having to guard, safeguard, or protect, and that might leave you in a curious position of like, wow, like, why am I feeling that? I mean, I should be, shattered, and you may still be shattered, but there may also be a strange sort of relief that comes with the removal of something that you felt that you couldn't live without. And then the next idea that I wanted to share with you is this feeling that your gain comes at somebody else's loss. Okay. And we all know that that's true in any sort of contest or competition. If you win the prize, it comes at somebody else's loss. That somebody else wasn't as good as you, and you emerge victorious. Okay, but what about those situations in which somebody's loss results in your gain? Okay, they lose something to you. Maybe it's recognition, or a position, or a person in a relationship, and so, maybe you win over someone that you both had feelings for, and this should be a good feeling, but what it also carries with it is a sense of really realizing that somebody else is losing as a result of your gain. So as I said, whenever we're dealing with a kind of Mars in Capricorn energy, there's always a kind of bittersweet or a kind of melancholic flavor to it as well. The other reason why I sort of am going down this line, I mean, I'm not doing this to sort of like, gee, Christopher, take my great, Earth trine week and, poke holes in it and find these, sort of undersides. But there's a reason for it. In astrology, there's no such thing. Like in life, there's no such things like, yay, I got it. That's great. Or, oh, I lost it. I'll never get over this, and then it's like, wait, no, I will go on, but like we're continually dealing with shifting and changing feelings, because the planets never stop in their courses, and not only are the planets always in motion, but the interpretation of the planets is a living live thing. Okay, so it's always changing its shape. It's always morphing. So what I also sort of add to this idea is the idea of the Mercury and the Pluto conjunction. What we will experience on February 11th will actually be the third of 3 Mercury-Pluto conjunctions, because these took place. We have 3 conjunctions. Normally we would just have 1, but we have 3 conjunctions because of the retrograde. So the first conjunction between Mercury and Pluto was on December 30th, okay? The second conjunction between Mercury and Pluto, Mercury was retrograde and moving backwards in the sky, and it moved past Pluto for a second time. So that the idea of that first conjunction may have been something that was kept secret, or something that was unknown, or something that was kept under wraps, or maybe it was a confidence that was shared with you, comes to light. Maybe it's information about a situation or someone that comes to light. Now, that would have been the first pass of Mercury going past Pluto on December 30th. Let's call that unknown information or undisclosed information comes to light, and it leaves you with this feeling of, now I know, and then because Mercury turns retrograde, there's this revisiting of it. Okay, so something comes to light, and then there's a revisit. You come back to it. And this is really about, well, what are my feelings about this, which has come to light? And that would have been on January 28th. And it would have been more than what are my feelings about this that's come to light. It would have been along the lines of like, how do I keep a lid on it? Or how do I keep this secret? Or maybe it's a confidence that someone shared with you that really puts you in a position where information that somebody else doesn't know, and it's making you feel like an accomplice, or it's making you feel guilty. Or maybe because this person swore you to secrecy, by you maintaining that confidence or secrecy, you're actually enabling someone in a situation that's not good for them. Okay, so this revisiting, this reconsidering of this information would have taken place around January 28th. And that might have been when you ran out of manufactured excuses, or when you realized my keeping quiet is not good for this situation. I'm going to have to speak up, or I'm going to have to say something. Perhaps you did on that day, or perhaps you did around that time. Then getting that person's ire or anger, or people saying, "Oh, we didn't know, and now we all know this because of you." So it would have been you revisiting, and then you having to take an action step. Perhaps based on a breaking of a confidence, or people looking at you like you knew this already, like having to deal with the consequences of that. So that on this third swing that Mercury makes past Pluto, this may be you stepping up to the plate and then having to live with it. Okay, this may be like, okay, I'm accepting responsibility. Maybe I broke this confidence. That wasn't the best thing to do, but it was my feeling that it was the right thing to do. And I am now going to go ahead and live with that consequence, taking responsibility for this, and I'm living with that consequence. So that's also playing into this type of energy that I want to describe for you this week. So you do get what you want, but the feelings that it produces in you are not what you had hoped for, or perhaps even expected. Hence the quote, more tears are shed over answered prayers than unanswered ones. Okay, so it's actually in the getting what I want that this is causing me pain, and it's causing me sadness. So what do we do with something like that? Well, we're talking about a Mars energy. We're not talking about a Neptunian one, and we're not talking about a Venusian one. And even though Mercury plays into this, we're not even really talking about a Mercury, let's see what we can cobble together to make it okay. No, the main players here are Mars and Uranus. They're the strong hands that are being played here. So what you're going to come to a realization is that you can't go back. Okay, that not only do you take responsibility for the decisions, the choices, or the actions, but there is no going back. That door has closed behind you. And in that regard, you have to be very Mars about it. You have to be sort of like, okay, doors closed behind me and I'm taking responsibility for it. And if I have to deal with people not talking to me as scowls or whatever, that's what I have to deal with it. That's what I have to deal with. I have to be Mars. Okay. I have to be empowered about this. The door has closed. The choice has been made. The decisions have been made. I gained something, which is causing a sort of sadness. The world has changed as a result. This might have impacted certain relationships or associations or your standing, but nevertheless, the choice has been made for you to go forward. So you need to go forward. And in true Mars fashion, you need to go forward and make the best of it.